Redemption, a conversation about how the male figure responds to the precious placed upon him by modern day society.
Join us as we discuss how we can positively impact and provide solutions.
Welcome to Redemption, a show where we discuss issues that are affecting men all over South Africa, across cultures, color borders. My name is Dumsani Wagamkize, Kabazela Gamavovo, Kupela, Kwabeka Ihlandla. And I'm not alone. I am with my fellow brother, Mr. Kolani Mngomezulu. X.
Hey, Dume.
What's up, bro?
Good.
Good.
Thank you so much for that intro. Yes, my name is Kolani Mngomezulu Mfiso. As Dumsani has said, we'll be discussing matters affecting men all across the globe. We are doing our best to kind of fix what has gone wrong in this country. And we're delving into a lot of issues that affect us as a whole, hoping that this is beneficial to one and all.
Great stuff, X. Thanks for that. So today we've got an interesting topic for you guys. We are here to speak about a topic that is a bit of a prickly issue when it comes to men. And we're going to speak about the weaponization of maintenance, and maintenance is meant to be something that takes care of the welfare of children, and it's become a thorny issue with families because, there's systematic challenges that come with this. And to discuss, the issues that affect families, we have our guest and our friend, Mr. Gary De Silva. Welcome, Gary.
Thanks, Dumasani, and thanks, X. It's great to be here.
Good to have you, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Right, thanks. Yes, Gary, we're really glad to have you here, especially from the organization you're working with. So we're going to look into things like referencing to, laws that affect children. So we're going to look at the social engagements that you've had, the impact that is had across the country. But we're also going to look at the social and the economic factors that are at play here. We're going to unpack matters that affect children, but we're going to look at the interest of those children because that is what it's all about at the end of the day.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes, thanks, Gary. And again, with reference to public responses, social submissions to the government, as well as policymakers that have tackled this issue, we're going to unpack it even further, looking at the social impact, the financial impact, and most importantly, the legal side of it. We're going to unpack it, and thanks to Gary being here, he's going to give us more insight, especially coming from Fathers for Justice South Africa.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome again, Gary.
Thanks.
Can you give us more info about what you do, who you are, and what's your background on this matter?
Okay, so who we are is Fathers for Justice South Africa. We've been in operation for 21 odd years now. We campaign for the right of the child to have joint, equal, shared contact care, guardianship and maintenance with, by and of both biological parents at all times, in the absence of violence, abuse and neglect. That is a very clear point that we are very clear about.
Yeah.
We are not about promoting any form of violence and that. Fathers for Justice operates on a national basis. We have a mediation and litigation teams across South Africa. And we are able to assist you from a mediation point of view, which is what we believe should be happening anyway. You shouldn't be going to court. But unfortunately, there is an entire culture that needs to be changed around, I need to rush off to court. And if we do have to go to court, we do have a litigation team that operates on a national basis. We have 11 teams operating nationally, and we will assist you from magisterial court, maintenance court, children's court, through to the High Court, and all the way through to the Constitutional Court if necessary. And the idea is to empower the individual to get the family, including your ex, out of the legal justice system because you shouldn't have even been there in the first place, as far as we are concerned. That's in essence what we do. The mediation and litigation department have been operating for approximately 3 years. It's taken us a long time to find individuals with the emotional and psychological wherewithal to actually run these divisions. So because the idea is to reduce and mitigate the conflict with the idea to get the family on its path to healing.
Awesome, Gary.
Great.
Just to delve further into this matter, I just have a few questions for you that you can maybe cover for us, just to give us more depth.
Sure.
First question I want to get off the top of my head, and I think a lot of our viewers will be asking that too. What is maintenance law supposed to achieve in South Africa?
Maintenance law, insofar as the child is concerned, is about maintaining the child insofar as its scholastic, medical, school clothing, civic clothing, extramural activities, obviously food, water, light, etc., etc. Maintenance is supposed to be for the maintenance and upkeep of the child.
Yeah.
And as far as we are concerned, both parents have equal responsibility in maintaining the child within the framework of what they're earning. So that is why we believe that maintenance is important, but however it's abused. Do we have issues out there? Absolutely, yes, we do. But I'm sure we'll get to that during the course of this
discussion.
Yeah.
Great.
Ah, awesome. And just as a follow-up, I just want to understand, as Fathers for Justice, what are your obligations towards maintaining this law and pushing it through to make it work for South Africa?
Our obligations is that we are saying that, that fathers do have a responsibility to be paying maintenance, and that on that point we are exceptionally clear. We will get fathers, one of the big issues that we have is that fathers come to me and they say, Gary, I've stopped paying maintenance because the mother won't let me see the child. The denial of contact is an entire program in itself. But let us address the maintenance. So let's be very clear. The South African law is that contact does not equal maintenance, and maintenance doesn't equal contact. Okay, the two are mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Just because I don't have contact with the child doesn't necessarily mean that I don't have a responsibility to pay maintenance.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Just because I'm paying maintenance, just because I have contact, doesn't necessarily mean that I am paying maintenance because of issues like unemployment in South Africa.
True.
So the bottom line is that as fathers, you have a responsibility, and through our initial engagement with Fathers for Justice, we will ascertain whether you are out of work and unable to pay. Okay, well, that's an entirely different discussion. As I'm not paying, I've got the ability to pay, and I'm not paying because I'm being denied contact. The other issue is that so what we would do with a father that has the capacity and ability to pay maintenance, or if he is struggling to pay maintenance, but he's struggling to pay maintenance, but he's still working. It doesn't help. We say, okay, well, come, let me send you through to our litigation department and get you to pay the maintenance. Rather take the money that you would be giving to us and go and sort out your maintenance. Go and approach the maintenance court and resolve it there. Okay. The problem that we are sitting with is that we are sitting with a highly violent, gynocentric, misandrist, feminist-based justice system that says fathers must just pay. So what do you want me to do? Cut my kidney and my liver and my heart out to pay for maintenance? Okay, that's not going to last very long because I'm going to be dead after that operation. So the bottom line is that we are very clear that fathers do have a financial obligation, and but at the same time, I read maintenance orders that come out of courts, and I'm sort of like saying, do the judges and magistrates not go to math school? Are we living in some form of parallel universe that 1 + 1 = potato? It's just like, I mean, I distinctly remember the very first case that I ever dealt with on a maintenance basis. This father was ordered to pay 25,000 Rand per month.
Sure.
Wow.
Okay. Let's put that in context. His gross salary before deductions was 20,000 Rand per month.
What?
Wow.
Okay, so before that father even started, without deductions, he was already 5 grand in the hole. Okay.
Yeah.
What were some of the items on the maintenance list that he was responsible? 2,000 Rand a month for mommy's nails.
Wow.
And pedicure. 2,000 Rand a month for makeup. 2,000 Rand a month for hair. 2,000 Rand for mommy's magazines.
Wow.
Bearing in mind that was 21 years ago, so we still had magazines back then.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. Please explain to me what mommy's hair and nails and
Have to do with the
magazines has to do with maintaining the child.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
much so.
And this poor father, in his naivety, he said, no, I think he had something like 180 or 160,000 Rand in savings.
Sure.
So his thing is that he was dipping into his savings to live
Yeah.
and to pay the additional, the 5,000 Rand additional
On top of the
On
20.
on top of the 20.
Yeah.
Okay. And we calculated that within 7 to 8 months, that money would be gone.
True.
Okay. What are you going to do after that? And this is sadly, this is sadly the issues that we deal with. I mean, like I make a joke I get dads saying, I'm paying 50,000 Rand maintenance a month, and my standard joke with them is, "Can I get married to you and get divorced, please?"
Yes, please.
So, and I mean, like we're talking about guys that have got. I mean, like it's a 2-year-old child, it's a 3-year-old child.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it cost money to maintain that child per month? Sure, absolutely. We're not denying that, but it doesn't cost 50,000 Rand for a 2-year-old child. Okay, what are we feeding the child?
Yeah.
Gold-coated milk and caviar. I mean, seriously,
True.
But just a quick one, Gary. In what you've just mentioned with regards to that maintenance fee, I mean, are really women actually noting that, mommy's hair, mommy's, I mean, wouldn't that be a red flag when you are in court during that litigation?
One would think that is,
Yeah.
one would think that mommy's here, and so I mean, like in this father's instance, he wasn't married to the mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did he have a responsibility for spousal maintenance, which once again is
a different topic.
it's a different
altogether,
topic,
True.
and that's one of the things that we are saying to fathers. If you're getting involved with a woman, okay, even if you have no intention of getting married to, and you are not, please let me stress this, you are not legally obligated
Yes.
to have a cohabitation agreement.
Okay.
Okay, for me, it's absolutely vital that you have a cohabitation agreement if you are just merely living with somebody. And one of the things in there is, should a child be born of this relationship, automatic 50-50 contact care, guardianship and maintenance from date of separation must be included in that cohabitation agreement. And if she says to you, no, you know what, that for me is, that's more red flags than a May Day parade in Tiananmen Square. I mean, get the hell out of Dodge, because the tanks are coming in. Okay?
Definitely.
So, and the other thing is that it blows my mind is that even when guys get married, and this is more specifically when you're having a cultural or a traditional marriage, specifically under your black and your Indian community, okay?
Yes.
The guys go and do the traditional or the cultural wedding, okay? But they don't, you can shout Mlungu and bad Westerners and stuff like that, but the bottom line is that you do have the law of the land.
True.
Guys do not go and put in a prenuptial agreement, okay? And it's very, and the thing is that about without a prenuptial agreement, it's in community of property. So both debts and assets are divided.
Yeah.
What is one of the biggest problems that I've got with dads is mommy's gone and run up 200,000-400,000 rands worth of debt, and now I'm expected to pay half. And what the lawyers do is that they bully father. Oh, you want to see little Johnny or little Tabu? That's fine. That's fantastic. You take the whole account of the debt of mommy's debt.
Wow.
Sure.
Wow.
So can you, when it comes to getting married, you have a choice of getting married in community of property without accrual, in community with accrual, out of community without accrual, out of community of property with accrual. Okay. We're saying if you're getting married in this day and age, it's out of community of property without accrual.
So that's a prenuptial, right?
That's a prenuptial. And we're saying as fathers, you've got to start protecting your assets.
Most definitely.
Because the problem is that marriage for women in this day and age has become a business. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not about, oh, it's lovey-dovey, and I'm seeing my that this is, this is the
Long
man.
term, yes.
This is the long-term trajectory that we're going to have here.
So Gary, maybe just before you elaborate further, you're speaking of prenup. Now, this is obviously in a wedding or marriage setting.
Yeah.
But you also spoke of a cohabitation agreement.
Yeah.
So do you care to, just give us the differences between the two, okay, and what they entail, so that the average guy out there, can then understand what they're getting themselves into? Because you've just mentioned that nowadays a relationship is more of a transaction than something that is more about love. Yeah. So please just give us the differences between the two.
Okay, so like I said, so let's go back to the beginning. If you get married and you don't have an agreement, it is automatically a community of property where the assets and the debt are divided in theory are divided equally.
Yeah.
Okay. Then if you do sign a prenuptial agreement, it's those that I've mentioned. It's in or out of community of property, and with or without accrual. Okay. So with or without accrual. So if with accrual is that any assets or debt that comes into the family is into that union is responsibility of both. Or out of without accrual is my assets and my debt remain mine. Your assets, your debt remain yours.
Yeah.
What's mine is mine. What's yours?
Correctamundo. The thing that I'm saying about a cohabitation agreement is okay. And I want to stress this point. There is no legal obligation for you to do it.
Okay.
Okay. Please, let's be clear on that point.
Yes. Yeah.
But if this is going 2 months, 3 months down the line, the fact of the matter that you could have impregnated her on the first day, let's not go there.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
Okay. But the bottom line is, if this is something that you can see that, okay, this is going somewhere, document her and your assets and your debt. Who's responsible for what?
Yeah.
And should we separate, this is how the debt and the assets are separated.
Yeah.
Should a child be born out of that union, nothing less than 50-50 contact care, guardianship and maintenance. And one thing that I must stress is that one parent should not be allowed to remove the child to another town, province or country without the express written consent of the other partner.
Gary, wow,
Yeah, sure.
that is amazing. You've broken it down, and I love the fact that you've brought it back to the maintenance piece. Because once we've agreed on that prenuptial agreement and whatever we accrue and so forth, we also now look at the factors that how does the weaponization of maintenance affect all of that financial accrual? And I would like to know, where does Fathers for Justice stand on this point? I can see you're very passionate about it, but where do you as Fathers for Justice stand about this?
Okay, so as I said at the beginning, are parents, not fathers, are parents responsible for maintenance? 100%, both of you. You're either responsible for the maintenance on a 50-50 basis, okay, or pro rata, depending on if one of you is a higher earner.
Okay.
And one of the things that is never taken into consideration is the earning capacity of the parties. Yeah, you've got to go and submit 6 months or 2 years worth of income statements and bank statements. Okay. But I'm telling you that is never taken into consideration, because what we deal with, and obviously I've got to acknowledge that I do have a bias on this, because the cases that we deal with on a daily basis, it's like, who decided that a father that's earning 10,000 Rand must be paying 9,000 Rand a month maintenance? So forget about that guy getting to work. How does he get to work? Okay, forget about that guy eating. Forget about where he lives. Okay, do we understand and appreciate that a child costs money in this day and age? This is the world that we have all collectively agreed to, and this is the world that we're living in, and money is what makes this world work for us now. Okay,
Definitely.
do we agree on that? Yes, we're not going to be stupid about it.
True.
But the reality is that I mean, like, if the father's earning 10,000 rand a month,
Yes.
and you're saddling him with a 9,000 rand maintenance bill, what are you doing? I'm time and time again, I speak to dads that do have the financial wherewithal. No, I agreed. I want the best for my child.
Yes.
I'm saying that's great. That's fantastic. God forbid you don't have an accident. Then what are you going to do? Okay?
Wow.
Then what are you going to do? So what we're saying is that you should be paying a realistic amount towards your child within the framework of your earning capacity.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's true.
And what is that figure? And that figure is, I've investigated, and it's somewhere between 30 and 40% of the combined income of both parents. Okay. So that's what you should realistically be looking at. I mean, like, look, I'm taking care of my parents and I live with them, and I mean, like, I go out and I buy bread and milk and basics, and the bill is $1,000, and so it's not like I'm buying caviar and
exactly
and moe, it's basics,
Sure. Can I just throw a spanner in the works?
Sure.
Because now you've mentioned something critical that is on both parents, but it seems the law is putting it more on men because, your first interaction with regards to answering this question, you gave an analogy that, a father who's earning 10,000
Yes.
he's now paying 9 grand. So obviously, how is he going to live? And chances are, you get situations whereby now, let's say the guy is married and he had an affectionate relationship with somebody else and he impregnates this person. Now, obviously, with regards to that, he's, say, for God's sakes, he's married in community of property, right? And now he cannot maintain or have the upkeep. So what does the law do then? Do they now go into the spousal's, earning? And you might find that maybe the spouse is earning 20 grand.
That is common practice. I wouldn't say it's not common practice, but it's not unheard of for them to go after his wife's income. Okay. And once again, so now suddenly the income to that household is now 50,000 rand. But mommy wants 45,000 rand.
Wow.
Sure.
Wow, Gary. Wow.
So it's not. So are we saying that there is a responsibility for that father to maintain that child? 100%.
Yes. Correct.
But now.
Is it realistic?
No, it's not really. You see, the problem is, and maybe if we can take a step back, the problem in South Africa is that we have a high unemployment rate in South Africa. Now, if you take a look at the youth, what we consider the youth that are working in South Africa, that is defined anybody between the ages of 15, why 15, I don't know, but anyway, and 35.
Yes.
42.3% of those are unemployed. So just short of, just over 1 out of 2 fathers in South Africa between the ages of 15 and 35 are unemployed.
True.
Okay, now you want to shout about all these bad fathers. We've got an economy that has collapsed, and I'm not going to get into who did what when.
Topic for another day.
It's a topic for another day. But the bottom line is that we have a collapsed economy. We have poor leadership. We are not doing anything about correcting and rectifying the economy in South Africa. We have the stats that I read the other day, I think it said that 33.5% of the working age population, so that's from 15 to 65, is unemployed in South Africa. Okay. The other thing is that you've got approximately, and let me remember this quickly, you've got 20 odd million working adults in South Africa. Okay. Of those, 9 million are paying taxes in South Africa. We've got 28.2% of the population of South Africa that are being supported by social grants.
Sure.
So forget about my family. as a taxpayer, I'm also supporting three other individuals in South Africa. What are we doing about getting those people back to work? Another conversation for another day. But the bottom line is that it's all good and well to turn around and say, look at all these bad fathers. Okay.
Yeah.
So do we acknowledge that there are deadbeat fathers out there? It would be stupid for us to deny that.
100%.
Okay.
100%, yeah.
So on average, you're looking at between 6 and 7% of fathers are deadbeat, or fit the true definition of a deadbeat father in South Africa. You know, somewhere between, depending on which age group of the population that we are looking at in South Africa, between 33 and 42% of the population in South Africa is unemployed. So you're looking at between 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 2 fathers are not earning a salary in South Africa. Now you want to come and say, you're a bad father, you're a bad father, you're a bad father, I'm a bad father. Okay? But now, what they're doing now is, and if you have a look at the Department of Justice, is that they have come out and they want to now start targeting those fathers that have the wherewithal to pay maintenance and are not. And we are saying, as Fathers for Justice, do what you must. Okay? Do what you must. But what we have observed, okay, is that this is now starting to be used as a catch-all, because what they're saying is that they want to blacklist the father, potentially bring criminal charges against him for failure to pay maintenance order, okay, for failure to paying maintenance, and the potential and possibility of imprisoning him.
Wow.
So how long would be the imprisonment? Because, I mean, for me, when you say such, you know, it now obviously going to affect the child, because the dad is the primary, you know, maintainer.
True.
Do you understand the stupidity of what they're doing here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now we've got an accident, and now we're trying to fix the accident. Okay, you didn't fix the economy. The other thing is that, and I mean, like, the other thing is that we've got is the education system in South Africa. I mean, like, it's just garbage. With the introduction of the Bella Bill, now that we've got illegal foreign nationals that are able to come and put their kids into school over and above our children, we've got classes that are full to kingdom come and back. We've got a garbage education system. We've got a garbage economy. We've got a collapsed economy. We've got anything between 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 2 fathers out of work. Now you want to imprison them. That father comes out. He's got a criminal record against him, and he's been unemployed for, depending on what the judge or the magistrate decides the term is going to be. And now, because he's got a criminal record, now he's not unable to get work. It's like, you guys are trying to fix the accident. The accident is the result of all of this that has happened in front of you. You're not fixing the root causes. Okay. I want to reiterate, do fathers have a responsibility for paying maintenance? The fair and reasonable portion of their portion towards the children. Absolutely. Definitely. But now you want to criminalize. You want to criminalize poverty in South Africa. You want to criminalize fatherhood in South Africa. And then you have the gall, you have the audacity to turn around and say, look at all these bad fathers.
Exactly. And, you know, when you put it like that, you take me back to another matter here that we're facing around maintenance. How is maintenance even linked to parental contact? How is that, you know, being broken down? As Fathers for Justice in South Africa, how do you view not being able to contact your child because of a maintenance issue?
Okay, so from a legal point of view, as I said earlier, the maintenance and contact are two separate things. Okay. But lawyers are to blame. Okay, whether they like it or not, they are the problem, the whole problem, and nothing but the problem. Okay. So you come in and you say, okay, well, I want 50-50. No, we're not giving you 50-50. We'll give you every second weekend. Okay. And if you want an extra day, pay an additional 5,000 or 10,000 rands worth of maintenance. So they do use, and I'm not interested in the responses from the lawyers and the advocates and the psychologists and the social welfare workers and the maintenance officers. They do use maintenance as a negotiation tool to get more maintenance out of the father.
That is deep, Gary.
Okay, and how many fathers do I deal with that before? So here is the stupidity of it all. How many fathers have maintenance orders that they cannot afford before it's even been made a final order of court? They are already in the
pits.
They're already in the pits.
Let's call it the dog.
Yeah, they're already in the doghouse before it's even been made a final order of court. Are the judges and the magistrates, what planet did they go and study maths on? Can they, you've asked for all my financials. Yeah. Okay.
And bank statements.
And bank statements and, woe betide you ask a mother for that. Forget it. You may as well, talking to a brick wall, I would get far further from getting that out of it. So you've got all my statements, you've got all my bank accounts in front of you, okay? And if you can't interpret it as a judge or a magistrate, surely it is incumbent on that judge or magistrate to call in an accountant or and say, interpret this for me.
So Gary, on that, you spoke about what the law may not be doing necessarily. Now, we according to some of the research that I've come across, we've seen obviously some of the fathers, because of, as you've just mentioned, they keep trying to suck them dry. And most guys, they end up just, leaving work and,
remaining
unemployed because now it becomes a spite thing. So now what would be the ramifications of that? Because would that man still be criminalized? Because now he's seeing that, he can't even keep up, as you mentioned. So he just decides, tools down, I'm not going to work. You know what? This woman is trying to take me to the pits. What happens in that scenario?
Dumisani, this is our concern, and we are all, it's not something that is new to us. But what I'm saying to you, we've now the Department of Justice and the Public Protector and the Public Prosecutor, they have now come out and they are now going out to enforce this. Okay. Yeah. So, do we have fathers that stop working so that they don't have to pay maintenance? Let's not BS each other. Yeah. Yes, there are. Okay. But they're not in the main. Okay. Because the vast majority of fathers that we talk to want to participate and be in their children's lives. Yeah. Their children are their universe. Yes. Okay. So this is why we have these fathers, and it's out of desperation. You've been denied contact on spurious grounds of seeing your child, and now it's 6 months, a year down the line. Sign this document and you can start seeing little Johnny or little Taba this afternoon. You know how many fathers sign agreements out of sheer desperation to see their children? And you know what? The problem is that the issue only escalates after that, because now mommy doesn't necessarily have the bargaining tool for more maintenance, but now she's going to deny contact and she's going to stop telephone calls and sort of like stuff like that. So the issue is that, and let me put this out there. If you had a look at the Children's Act of 2005, if you have a look at it at face value, you as the mother have rights and responsibilities, you as the father have rights and responsibilities, 100%. And the child has rights. Yeah. Clean. It was the best children's act in the world up until about 6 or 7 years ago, where the Israelis said that they criminalized, they enforced fathers' rights to their children. Okay. And so it's like they're saying the father has a right. Okay. And the point I'm making is that there is this desperate attempt by the legal justice system in South Africa to forcefully remove fathers out of their children's lives by hook or by crook.
Sure. Gary, Earlier on, you gave us the differences between the cohabitation agreement as well as, the marital agreement, right? And, you mentioned something interesting in a case such that if a man becomes disabled, or let's say in a case of death. So during the break, I heard you mention, the last will and testament. Do you care to elaborate on that? Because I believe, say, for example, should I pass away, that's something that I should be thinking about while I'm still alive. So why would that matter when it comes to maintenance?
Okay, it matters to maintenance because, God forbid that you should die while the children are still young. You need to have a last will and testament that ties up with the maintenance agreement. Okay, so that the continued financial support of the children continues.
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing is that your last will and testament should also encompass things like now when your children become older.
Yeah.
And you would die of natural causes later on, so that there is no ambiguity around what the children receive. Okay. And you guys have got to be very specific about what you put in there.
Yeah.
Specifically around while the children are still under the age of majority, or the end of a maintenance agreement has not completed.
Yeah.
That the children are taken over, and that the mothers cannot now come and grab all of your assets, because if you are now married, if you are now in a new relationship and you're married and so on and so forth, that the equal or fair sharing of the maintenance goes out to your new spouse and to the children.
Yeah.
Okay. Too many times what we find is that the father passes, and now all of a sudden there's a huge bun fight, because now your ex is now trying to grab all the money out of the out of the estate.
Yeah.
And it's a huge bun fight. You need to be very specific and clear about who gets what when, okay? And that there's no future claims from your ex-spouse.
Yeah.
So that there's, as I said, there's no ambiguity in the matter. It's one of the things that Fathers for Justice can assist you with establishing if you need assistance with that.
Okay, having said that, Gary, sorry. Oh, I'm thinking Jerry. Maybe Tom and Jerry. But having said that, maybe do you also care to elaborate? Because when we speak of maintenance and hearing your explanation with regards to the last will and testament, I think, most fathers want to know as well, what is the age that a father, who's paying maintenance, up until what age? And then you also mentioned that obviously for future, what can I say? Maybe gains from your assets should you pass. What percentage is then allocated to the child? Because at the end of the day, you mentioned that the ex-spouse might want to take all the assets, and then you also spoke about there's a certain portion which is, I think you said 40%, that should be allocated for the maintenance. But obviously the courts are not doing that. But according to the extensive and expensive knowledge that you have within this job you've been doing with Fathers for Justice and fighting for fathers, what is the legal age that you're allowed to maintain up to? And then obviously how do you then allocate the percentage thereafter, should you obviously, God forbid, pass away?
Okay, so let me deal with the maintenance portion first, because it is a huge issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so I deal with fathers daily, and I've yet to find a father that has a sunset clause or a termination clause written into the maintenance agreement. Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's up until the age of majority, maybe. Okay. Too many fathers do not define when does my financial responsibility end through the mother to the child. Okay. So your choices are age of majority, 21 until the child becomes self-sufficient. Okay.
Yeah.
The issue that we have is that it says until the child is 18, but what happens if the kid is still has got to write matric?
Yes.
Does your maintenance obligations to that child stop?
Cease,
No,
yeah.
it doesn't. Okay. So you've got to be so we would suggest that in that instance, if that's when you want it to stop, either when the child reaches 18 or finishes matric, whichever one is the latter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You can do it up until the age of 21 or until the child becomes self-sufficient.
Yeah.
I would strongly suggest that you don't do the last one, because we are now representing a father that the one child is 35 and the other one is 29, and he's still paying maintenance towards the mother.
Sure.
Because there was no sunset clause or termination clause
in place.
Okay. And I can tell you now, it is deliberately left out by the lawyers and the maintenance officers with the direct, specific intent to create conflict, ongoing conflict.
So, Gary, just
Okay.
before you go there, sunset clause, termination contract.
Is
Is it the same thing, or what's the difference?
No, it's the same thing. So
What does it entail?
So when does my maintenance obligations to my child end?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you could say, so the other thing is, okay, so now your child wants to go to university and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could, like what some fathers do is that they say, okay, well, I would be responsible for 50% of or 100% of, which we don't suggest, of the child's university fees.
Yeah.
Okay. The other way that you can look at it is should, at 18 years old, in the eyes of the government, that child is now an adult.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
So
of
do
legal
I
age.
still?
Yeah.
They have mature age. So it should be. You could also write it in such a way that the child would come and discuss directly with the father ongoing maintenance if necessary, and that becomes a father-child or a parent-child discussion. Okay.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we're saying is that you must give a fixed sunset or termination clause in there, because the one father that we dealt with, his son had come and lived with him since he was 18 years old, and he'd been working for his father for something like, his son was now 33. Mommy fell on hard times, and now she was trying to claim all the maintenance from 18 until his son was 33.
Wow.
Is it even legal though?
I just said to him, listen, you need to, you either need to go back to court or whatever the case may be, but the likelihood of any success in that is highly unlikely.
Yeah.
But these are the kind of risks that you are exposed to. Once again, I want to point out, do fathers have a financial responsibility from a maintenance point of view towards their children?
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
But fathers, in their desperate attempts to have a relationship with their children, will sign some of the most ludicrous stuff. They are also not advised correctly by their lawyers, and I don't care what the lawyers say.
Yeah.
What do we do all day, every day, is sort out maintenance issues because the father was not correctly and properly advised by the lawyer.
Yeah.
And the way the maintenance or the divorce decree or the parenting plan was written in La La Land. And what is it doing? It's just exposing the father to financial risk.
Yeah.
It is exposing the father to litigation or legal processes being brought against him because of these ludicrous maintenance agreements.
But this sounds like they're cashing in on the father as well, because at the end of the day,
Who would
we say
suggest that?
maintenance is about the child.
True.
But now,
true.
I mean, you're paying all these legal fees, and thereafter you still have to now also pay maintenance.
And that's a very powerful point there, Tumsani, because when we look at how we are just delving into the subject, I don't think any of us have talked about what are the mother's responsibilities here. As much as you spoke about the Act, of 2005, where it says both parents need to contribute. And I don't think society is talking more around how do we collect from our mothers, the mothers of the children.
But the children are living with the mothers. The mother's already carrying the cost.
Already carrying the cost.
Mommy.
That is very interesting, because
you
it
know,
leads me to the next question for Fathers for Justice,
Yeah.
to say, I know you've got proposals that you've been working on, and what is your view, and what kind of reform are you going under to kind of look at the maintenance law, and how can you help it do better in this country?
So I have sent I've sent a letter through to the studio that we sent out during the course of this week as a result of the public prosecutor and public protector, going out and doing
Due diligence.
What's the word? They when you go out to the public, you go out to the general public, you set up forums for them to come and air their grievances and so on and so forth.
Yes. Okay.
So, how did I become aware of it? It was because some lawyer was, where's Fathers for Justice? Why aren't they there? And thank heavens that there was a councillor in Cape Town that specifically said there was more politicians and officials than there were public because of the bad advertising. I have that letter, and I'm happy to. I think I already have forwarded that to the studio, and I've also submitted a response to the the particular public prosecutor and public protector that were at these hearings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we acknowledge that both parents have a responsibility to maintenance, but you guys are ignoring us. Okay. And I don't know how far I can go into this, but basically what we've said to them is that we wanted a commission of inquiry set up on a national basis, okay, with very clear defined key performance indicators and key performance deliverables, along with very strict timelines as to when this must be finalized, and where necessary law needs to be changed, that it is assented to the state president on an urgent basis to have this signed into law.
Wow.
Because we are already, this message that came out from the Department of Justice about them targeting those fathers that have the wherewithal but are absconding from their responsibilities. Okay, we are already noticing that fathers, it's been additionally weaponized. The maintenance issue has been additionally weaponized. Okay. And we are already noticing fathers being prejudiced even more than what they are. And we're only at the end of, we're on the 1st of February. So a little over 2 months, and we're already noticing the pull through on this.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So what the Department of Justice, the public protector, and the public prosecutor have done is that they have already taken an issue that is out of control and supercharged it. They've supercharged this thing because what we are already noticing is that fathers are being further prejudiced. Okay. Once again, I want to be clear, fathers have a responsibility to maintenance, but fair and equitable within the confines of their earning capacity.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm glad you're actually mentioning that you're engaging with this, and remembering that you've had interactions and tried to engage with the likes of your Patricia de Lille's. Can you just give us some insight on how that went about and what was the outcome of that?
Okay, so this is once again, I mean, like, Patricia de Lille, sort of like the mid-2000s would come out and say, they wanted to arrest those fathers that are not paying maintenance, because now the understanding was that these fathers were now receiving theoretically bonuses.
Wow.
Okay. And I'm sort of like saying, when last did any of us receive a bonus?
That is interesting.
We're not politicians, that can sign our own checks. Having said that, she would come out and say they want to target fathers for failure to pay maintenance. And I tried for 5 years.
Wow.
Okay. To get hold of Patricia and said, we will come and stand with you. We will work with you. On the one condition that you also target mothers, that where there is an existing order of court that those mothers are denying the father's right of contact with their children.
Yes.
I didn't even get a response back from her secretary.
Wow.
Wow.
It's one of the things that I said to this councillor from Cape Town. We want to work with you.
Yeah.
We understand that this is a problem.
True.
We're not running away from it.
We're taking accountability.
We're taking responsibility and accountability, and we're saying, let us engage. Come and talk to us.
Yeah.
I mean, like Fathers for Justice has in excess of 60,000 members nationwide and growing.
Wow.
Okay.
Sure.
So here's the thing. Come and engage us. What is the solution? Okay. I've written that request to the Department of Public Protector, the Public Protector and Prosecutor, saying we engage us.
Yeah.
We went to the Public Protector about 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we're saying this is a societal issue. This is a societal issue.
Yes.
Can we address it?
Yeah.
They came back and said, no, we want individual cases. It's not about the individual cases, guys.
No.
Can we work with the Public Protector to call the public in so that they can come and present their individual cases so we can determine where is the issue lying?
Yeah.
No, but we must provide, and it's not the point. This is a societal issue that impacts every single child, mother and father in South Africa. We need to address it. Ignored. Centre for Gender Equality, we did research with them in 2019. We said to them, Section 19, 20 and 21 of the Children's Act was unconstitutional. So for those that don't know what Section 19, 20 and 21 is, Section 19 is the rights and responsibilities of a married woman or a biological mother to her child.
Okay.
The Section 20 is the rights and responsibilities of a father towards the child. Okay, and where a married father automatically assumes same or similar rights of that of a married woman or a biological mother. Okay, and Section 21 is for unmarried fathers and their rights and responsibilities. Okay, and we're saying why? Question: why are we discriminating between the parents? Surely I as the father and you as the mother have rights and responsibilities towards that child. Why are you discriminating? And the thing about Section 21 is that you do not receive automatic rights and responsibilities towards that child. You've got to go and prove that your capability and ability of being a father towards that child.
And is this based on the differences being a married father versus being an unmarried father?
Yeah, this is
Wow.
Okay, so Section 19, Section 21 is for unmarried fathers, where the mother chooses to identify you as the father. Okay, and
You've used the word chooses. It's very interesting.
so there's a whole discussion on fathers that are not the biological father that have been raising those children. That's an entire different discussion.
Amazing.
Okay.
Hence, I was just picking up on the word chooses.
You as the father choose to be identified as the father of the child, and you pay or attempt to pay maintenance. Now, there was a section there about black fathers paying damages under customary law. Now, it was there.
Ooh.
And I see under the new revision of 2022, disappeared.
Okay.
Oh my. Interesting.
Okay. One of the big issues that we have is black fathers being denied because they have or haven't paid damages under customary law.
I see.
Now, I dealt with a father the other day. Okay. The mother's parents applied culture and tradition when it suited them, and when it didn't suit them, they didn't apply culture and tradition. Okay. And I mean, like this is once again an entire conversation, and it's a very important one because who is the largest percentage-wise? Okay, so percentage-wise in South Africa, the black population is the largest.
Yes.
But who is the largest population group in South Africa that do not partake in their children's lives? It's black fathers. And I'm saying to you, historical, culture, tradition, and law are and education
Yes.
are stopping black fathers from meeting their rights and responsibilities towards their children.
Gary, the damage story, that was powerful. You know, I'm thinking back on what's happening around our black communities specifically, you know, when you mentioned damages. So when things like our mothers start soliciting kids to weaponize them against, you know, not seeing or having access to the fathers, where can men go? Especially looking into just Fathers for Justice, how can they be supported in having a solution towards that?
Okay, so where can they go to? I mean, like, obviously your choice is that ideally what you should be doing is requesting mediation. Okay, and that is one of the big things that we push as Fathers for Justice. And I'd like to, if I can elaborate a little bit on mediation. The argument against mediation is that it must be a voluntary process. Okay. And we're saying, well, let's not get stuck on the word, then you go for alternative dispute resolution. So that is one solution for us. Okay. The second one is obviously you can go and you can approach the courts yourself directly. Okay. And the alternative to that is getting yourself a lawyer. Okay. To assist you. And the solution really is to come to Fathers for Justice, okay? We're not saying that we are everybody's cup of tea. We're not that arrogant and naive, okay? But the reason that Fathers for Justice exists is specifically because the legal justice system, the lawyers, the advocates, the psychologists, the social welfare workers simply don't do their job, okay? And you can argue against that. Yeah, no, but I helped this dad, I helped that dad. No, that's not what the point is. Okay, is do you have daily physical, emotional, psychological, or more specifically, does the child have daily physical, emotional, psychological contact, care, guardianship, and maintenance with both biological parents at all times? Okay, and that is the objective that we should be reaching for. The argument against mediation, okay, is that everybody is entitled to have their day in court, and that must be the most ignorant statement that I have ever heard in my life, because that is the default response from lawyers and advocates, okay? Because if you have a look at the legal justice system by default, is that it is an adversarial environment. It's a conflict-based environment, okay? The court system, by its very nature, requires a winner and a loser. I stole a loaf of bread, you need to go to jail. I murdered somebody, you need to go to jail. Okay, I didn't murder somebody, go to jail. Okay, so the default departure point on the legal justice system, it requires a winner and a loser. It's as if me going to a mechanic and saying, I've got this pain at the back of my head, can you please perform open brain surgery on my skull? Okay, it's the wrong person, it's the wrong place, it's the wrong environment, it's not, you have gone to the wrong professional, okay, for assistance. So the thing around the concern that we have is that there is a weaponization about deliberately removing fathers out of their children's lives, okay? And I've got a whole point of view on that, is that the bottom line is if you didn't see yourself as the mother raising that child with that father, then very simply put, you should not have had carnal knowledge of that father and had a child with that father. You chose to have a child together, you raise the child together. And that's the point of departure that we should be working from. I'll go back and I'll say it again. Do fathers have a responsibility to paying maintenance? 100% yes. Within the fair confines of the earning capacity of both of those parents. Okay? The problem that we deal with, and I'll point this out again, is that I am biased on this. Okay? Because that's what I deal with all day, every day. I live in this eternal Groundhog Day of, guys will go, I've got this desperate case, and you start listening to, no, but I'm sorry, you are run of the mill, okay? There's children have been weaponized against fathers with the direct, deliberate intent to remove fathers' constitutional, legal, and financial rights. And one has got to ask, what is the agenda on that? Okay, why do you want to obliterate what men do naturally, is provide, protect, take care of, love, and nurture their children? Nurture is their children. You know?
True.
So, I mean, like, no, but there's all these violent and abusive men out there. When you start looking at the statistics, the number of men that are violent and abusive and neglectful that are in any given community, depending on what you're looking at, sits at somewhere between 7 and 11% of the population. But you want to punish the other 89 to 93% of the male population. Why are you not focused on that portion of males that are violent, abusive, or neglectful? Why are you not focused on it? Because there's no money to be made. And that is what this whole thing is about. It's about making blood money off the suffering of our children.
So basically, you know, just taking off of that, this is a system. And, you know, I love the fact that your talk right now is going towards the children, the children. As Fathers for Justice South Africa, how do you think the system is harming the children?
It doesn't matter what matrix that you look at, what data point you extract. Our children are being obliterated on every emotional, psychological, physical, educational, developmental, and those are just to name a few. A growth, you know. You say and look at, you know, why do we have all these children that are involved in drugs and alcohol? What does it point back to? Where's the father?
Where's the father?
You know. Rape, you know, I mean, like, how many rapists out there, and the statistics are coming out now, how many rapists were actually raped as children? By mothers, by women. Okay?
Something we don't really talk about.
So we don't talk about that, you know. I mean, in the University of the Northwest did research in the Western Cape. And the number of teenage boys that had been raped by women sat at 42% of all the rapes that were reported. Okay?
Wow.
An additional 12% of boys that were raped by both women and men. So, can we agree that rape is wrong? Absolutely 100%. Can we agree it doesn't matter who the rapist is? Should we not be addressing rape of young teenage boys? Absolutely. But why do we sweep it under the rug? Because look at it's almost a 1-to-1 ratio.
It's a ratio issue. So if the ratio is not big enough, it doesn't deserve that.
No. The problem is that you look at it, that on average, somewhere approximating 54% of all boy children in the Western Cape are raped by women. Let's not let the feminists not address that matter. I'm saying rape doesn't matter who the aggressor is. You need to address it. But what is the one solution that we can provide to automatically begin reducing the rape of boys? Is father's involvement. And not every second weekend like a visiting uncle. Daily physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual, contact care, guardianship and maintenance on a daily basis.
Present fatherhood without the paperwork, without the lawyers.
Without the lawyers.
So, Gary, I mean, you spoke of mediation, and you spoke of, you know, you suggest that as men, we can go to courts, you know, we can have a lawyer present to assist, you know. I'm from a background where we grew up, you know. You're seeing this thing X, and I'm sure you've come across it, that, you know, the weaponization of children is that if, for example, I'm a Zulu man, right? And should I have had a child before I'm wedded to, you know, the lady I've been dating, you know, I need to pay intlawulo, which is damage. And having not paid that, then that would then give me a disadvantage of actually going to see the child. and then again I'll be dragged into court to go and pay maintenance, you know. So I'm hearing of the solutions that you're bringing, you know, to the forefront for men. So as Fathers for Justice, I want to know, what are you campaigning for?
Okay, so we are absolutely clear that Section 19, 2021 are unconstitutional. They are gender biased.
Okay.
Okay, we are saying that, and I detailed that earlier on, is about Section 19 is married women and mothers' rights and responsibilities. 20 is fathers, married fathers' rights and responsibilities, and 21 is unmarried or unwed fathers, as it was previously known. We are saying that that needs to be rolled up into Section 18, because Section 18 of the Children's Act already details the rights and responsibilities of parents, but we are saying that it needs to be strengthened. Okay. And we are saying that, I think I've worked it out to be Section 4E, that would be the next line in that in Section 18, is that irrespective of your marital status or lack thereof, culture, tradition, religion, other social norms and practices, in the absence of violence, abuse, or neglect, quantifiable, measurable, defined, provable in a court of law, absence of violence, abuse, or neglect, both parents must automatically have daily physical, emotional, psychological contact, care, guardianship, and maintenance with, by, and of their child from birth.
Parents.
Okay, from the birth of the child. Okay. The thing that the naysayers are going to say, oh yeah, no, but fathers are not bullshit. Sorry.
Go ahead.
That's rubbish. Because does a child suffer of separation anxiety, or a baby suffer from separation anxiety from the mother at or around about 9 months? Okay. Yes, they do, because they suddenly develop their locus of identity. They are beginning to start their locus of identity as a child, and they now understand that they are separate from the mother. Okay, that they are a unique individual. Okay, where does the relationship of the father become cemented? At 9 months. But how do I now say, oh no, Daddy, you go and stand on the sideline there for the last 9 months, okay? And we'll introduce the child at or around about 9 months. The child is aware that this other being, the father,
Present,
is part of my universe. And I can already sense that this individual is important in my life.
True. You know, that point is powerful. I mean, I've seen with my own kids where a child will recognize a father's voice. And immediately when you step into the room and you speak, the eyes would light up. You know, and now once you start removing that, the child will never identify with that father. So you're right when you say psychologically, you know, it does have an impact. And when we look at this, you know, we're discussing it in greater detail from a legal perspective. But I'd like to know, how can the public participate in reforming this maintenance law? What would you suggest as Fathers for Justice?
I would suggest that fathers need to get up off their backsides very, very quickly, because aside from the Maintenance Act, the Domestic Violence Act has been absolutely 1 trillion% weaponized against fathers. Okay. The new DV Act, or the latest DV Act came out mid last year. And we are already noticing that there's more and more allegations of violence, abuse, and neglect made by mothers against fathers, okay? And we are led to believe that 52% of all protection orders issued in South Africa are based on false, fake, or non-existent evidence. Justice insiders tell us that that figure sits way north.
Wow.
Okay. And by way north, I mean way north. Okay. Do we know that lawyers advise mothers to make those false allegations against fathers? Yes, we do. How do we know that? Because I have had countless, hundreds, if not thousands, of conversations with women where they've said, their lawyers said, make false allegations against the father. Okay, so I'll go back to the...
Isn't that perjury? Isn't that something that can be then charged in the court of law? Because if you are asking somebody to lie under oath against a man who wants to be, as you said, your cases as Fathers for Justice, your main focus is to deal with the men who want to participate, not that 11% that just absconded, right?
No, but hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
I'm saying, so no, if you're talking about deadbeat fathers, you're talking about 6 to 7% of fathers fit the criteria of a deadbeat father. Wham bang, thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah.
Why are you not focused on those fathers?
Yes.
Can Orlando Pirates go onto the field and play against a non-existent team?
No.
Okay, that's the problem with violent, abusive, and neglectful men, and that's the problem with deadbeat fathers. They don't play the game.
Yeah.
There's no money to be made. Okay, there's no money to be made.
So hence they're not touched.
So that's why they're not touched.
Yeah.
But we will pursue those fathers that want to participate in their their children's lives, label them all as violent, abusive, and neglectful, label them all as deadbeat, and then you see these fathers walking across hot, burning coals, jumping through hoops of fire to prove themselves that they are a decent and loving father. The mere fact that I've got a father that is prepared to do that should be an indication to the courts that this is a good father.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
And oh no, but he's a bad man. How's he bad man? Well, he works too much. Well, who's paying for the house? Who's paying for the car? Who's paying for the food and water? Who's paying for you to sit at home?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not some Father Christmas fairy tokolosh.
True.
No, that's true.
That's true. It's like they're now punishing you for wanting to do the right thing.
Yeah. So
they're making it more difficult.
So the other thing that we want to change is that we're saying from date of separation that within 90 days you should have already had a parenting plan signed off and endorsed by the Family Advocate's Office and already made a formal or final order of court around contact. Okay? Similarly with your divorce. Why are we spending 5, 8, 10 years arguing over separation? Yeah. That's very simple. If you didn't have a contract when you got married, it's community of property, 50-50 on assets and debt. Boom, stamp, gone.
Yeah.
Okay? If you had a prenup, it's very simple. It's what does your prenup say?
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Oh, no, but I wasn't represented and I didn't really understand. Well, bullshit. That's what they turn around and say to fathers. You know, you should have known what you're signing. And if you didn't know what you were signing, the onus is on you. Okay? The thing around, the thing for me is contact, is the parenting plan, the contact care, guardianship and maintenance.
Yeah.
We're saying if you're married, you should not be allowed to start your divorce proceedings until there is a parenting plan in place. We are saying that, and I'm not interested in these stupid lawyers that come out and make these idiotic things that are, why do you want to give a father 50-50 contact and care of his children? Okay, because that says to me, your objective is to make sure that the child is abused emotionally, psychologically, physically, mentally, and educationally. Yeah. And you want to place that child in the worst possible position possible. Yeah. From a developmental into adulthood, you want to place him in the worst possible position.
Yes.
Okay.
So essentially, that child is a pawn.
That child is a pawn.
And this is where we start developing things like absent father syndrome.
The thing is that I've got fathers that have come to me and they have given up. They have lost everything. I have fathers that are living in a skoro, okay? They're living and literally they've got their entire lives in that car. Yeah. Okay. And they've got and you open the boot, and what is the boot filled with? It's all the paperwork for all the filings that they've done to try and get access to their children. Wow. Okay, why are you doing? What is the agenda? What is the objective here? Why do you want to remove? What is the agenda that you so viciously want to extract fathers out of children's lives with such extreme prejudice? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Why do you want to do that? And so we're saying that, and why we are saying automatic joint, equal, shared, 50-50 contact care, guardianship, and maintenance. Okay. So what is my thing around the mediation, which we are saying we are absolutely adamant on it.
Yes.
Okay. That you should be doing mediation, and if mediation is not the word to, because we're getting blocked by a word, it should be alternative dispute resolution then. But it's very simple. Okay. Then at point of mediation, I go to a mediator along the lines of the CCMA as it was originally intended with the Family Advocates Court. Does the Family Advocates Office provide mediation? Maybe. Okay, but it should be, you've got the CCMA and you've got the arbitration. You've got the arbitration portion of the Labour Court. It should be exactly the same for parenting plans. Automatic 50-50 contact care, guardianship, and maintenance in the absence of quantifiable, measurable, defined violence, abuse, or neglect. Okay, and I want to talk about the violence and abuse and neglect just now. Automatic 50-50 contact. So there's 30 days in the month, 15 for you, 15 for mom. Are we going to be stupid about it that we're saying, oh, no, the child must now come and live with the child for 15? You're not, please. Let's not be stupid about it, because that's what the child abusing divorce industry is going to come and say. So what should be happening is that there should be some form of daily contact by the father where he's participating in taking care of the children. What is the biggest single complaint that we have from new mothers? Oh, I don't have anybody to help me. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. There's nobody that loves and cares for me. Okay. Who is the one individual that would be tripping over himself to get there to assist mommy so she can be the best possible mother to that child? It's the father. But what have you done? You've deliberately moved the father out of the situation. Okay. So so we are saying that because you've got a baseline of 50-50 contact care, guardianship, and maintenance, there should be daily physical contact until the child is 2 months. When the child reaches whatever milestone, let's get clever and scientific about this. We can do it if we want to. But the child abusing divorce industry doesn't want that to happen because they cannot make blood money off the suffering of our children. And then we're saying that, that from about 1 year old, the father should start having sleepovers at least once a week with daily physical contact with the child during that. When the child reaches 3, we can do 2 nights on, 3 days off. When the child reaches 4, we can do 1 week on, 1 week off. It's the solutions are there. The problem is that your child abusing divorce industry doesn't want these solutions to happen, because you are talking, if you take a look at the divorces, there's on average between 23 and 29,000 divorces per annum in South Africa. Okay, and if you take it at an average cost of somewhere between 500,000 and 5 million rand, you're talking at somewhere between the range of 7.5 billion and 16 billion rand a year industry for lawyers.
That makes sense.
Scary.
Okay, and we haven't even begun to discuss the number of fathers that are unmarried. We haven't even brought that into the equation yet. Okay, so this has nothing to do about the best interest of the children, which I might add is the most overused, useless term in the world, because I can tell you now, the adults are not conducting themselves in the best interest of the children.
Exactly. I mean, you see it, Gary, where we come from. The mothers, they ask for ridiculous amounts. And as you are explaining that, it should be a 50-50 split. Now, this is mind-boggling that in our courts, where this ought to be happening, it's not happening. So, this shows that, the system is being abused, and it's abusive towards men. Because now we are being asked to pay ridiculous amounts. And you find that the mother who's requesting these amounts, she's using the money for herself instead of the child. I mean, at the end of the day, a child shouldn't be costing us 9,000, for example, with the example you made earlier. So as Fathers for Justice, you've mentioned that these are married men who are divorced, some of the people that you represent. Now, with the unmarried portion, the single guy, the guy out there who's also fighting for his child and living in his korokoro, you know what I mean? What can you do for him as well? Because sometimes you might find that he's getting that minimum wage. This is where he didn't even pay that dowry or that damage that is requested of him, and he decides to go and get mediation. But mediation, because there might be a cost there, how can Fathers for Justice come in for that kind of a guy?
And I'd like to just feed off what you're saying there, Dumidi. It's also looking at taking your question. I also want you to summarize it in saying, what can the public do to support Fathers for Justice in terms of its advocacy when you cover Dumsani's point there?
Okay. Let me just go back to the thing around the contact. I think you were asking. Taking care. Sorry, the question was taking care of fathers that don't have the wherewithal.
Yeah.
Sadly and unfortunately, and it kills me. Okay, it's a cross I bear.
Yeah.
We simply cannot help all fathers. That is the simple, hard reality. Okay. And I have got many ideas that I would like to have implemented around that.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is that, to answer your question, where can the public get involved?
Yes.
We have got to start. We as men have got to stop worrying about who's supporting Orlando, who's supporting Kaizer Chiefs, who's supporting the Springboks. We as fathers have got to stand together, because I can tell you now, men in South Africa are being wiped out. And that is not some conspiracy hysterical theory.
Yeah.
Okay, I sit with this problem all day, every day.
Yeah.
We have got to get involved in these public hearings. That is why I have specifically asked for the commission of inquiry with the KPIs, KPDs, and deliverables. Okay, because we as fathers have got to come up and unanimously, and I mean, like, I'm providing solutions. Do I have all the solutions? Are my solutions correct? I don't know. Okay, but we've got to do something about it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We have to get up and do something about it. And I'm
definitely.
saying nothing less than 50-50 contact care, guardianship and maintenance from birth, irrelevant and irrespective of your marital, cultural tradition, other norms and practices, 50-50 contact care, guardianship and maintenance. And if I can just add the thing around the violence, abuse or neglect.
Yep.
If you want to make allegations of violence, abuse or neglect against that father, that's fine, that's fantastic, that's amazing, that's wonderful. Do it. Okay? The public prosecutor and whoever else needs to be involved must within 14 days produce a go or a no-go. Okay? It doesn't mean during that 14 days that the father doesn't have contact. You just make it supervised. Okay?
Yeah.
And if it is found that the mother and her lawyer have perjured themselves, the Perjury Act does allow for a fine or a 5 to 10 year prison sentence.
Yeah.
We are saying that it must be automatic and mandatory applied, and that a judge or a magistrate doesn't have the discretion of whether they apply the ruling or not. See how quickly you stop all the nonsense around false allegations.
Exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
But you
Punish
don't.
it.
You need to punish it.
Yeah.
Okay? The other thing is that the problem is that you will collapse the legal system, not just in South Africa, but worldwide if they were to apply it. Because that is what you're doing. You're paying for a lawyer to skirt around on the law and abuse the law. That's what you're paying a lawyer for. Okay? The reality, so we're saying that the judge or a magistrate should not have any discretion in applying that, because you will stop the false allegations overnight. Why does the justice system and the government, okay, allow for this nonsense to continue? Okay, because our court system is being unnecessarily clogged up with cases that shouldn't even be there in the first place. They shouldn't even be going to the police or the public prosecutor.
True.
In the first instance, you are wasting tax-paying money. And we as a society, not just as fathers, we as a society have got to start demanding services from our government.
Exactly.
Okay?
Exactly.
So to address my objective around saying that the contact must be automatic 50-50.
Yeah.
Okay? Because the judge or the magistrate must have no discretion in saying daily physical, emotional, psychological contact care, guardianship, and maintenance. Okay, they are not the ones that should be having that discretion.
Yeah.
Either I'm the father of that child or I'm not.
Exactly.
And I can guarantee you, I've yet to speak to a father that hasn't been involved with a child. I mean, like, we do get fathers that the mother was pregnant at the time with another man's baby. He comes on the scene, and that child grows up knowing him as the father.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not talking about those fathers. But I've yet to find a man that comes off the street, oh, no, I want a kid. I want to be the father to that child.
Yeah.
I've yet to meet that special case. Okay? So that's what we're saying is that the issue is that you've got unnecessary, prolonged, expensive, unnecessary legal and court proceedings that shouldn't be even there in the first place.
Yeah.
We are using the wrong system. The legal justice system is not the place to be doing it.
Yeah.
You should have a default dispute place and arbitration place.
Yeah.
Okay, and that should be automatic. I should not be allowed by law to contact a lawyer first. I should be going to a CCMA type environment. And what are we discussing here? We're discussing logistics and we're discussing finances. What does mommy earn now? I earn 10,000 Rand. Daddy, what do you earn? 10,000 Rand. What is the reasonable cost? And I use that word, I get sick when I use that word reasonable, but
reasonable.
you know, because anyway, what would it reasonably cost to maintain that child?
Yeah.
And there's the figure. Mommy, you earn 10,000, daddy earns 10,000. Ah, that's great. Well, 50% for you, 50% for you. Yeah. Boof, baff, done. Thank you. Finish. Why are we dragging out maintenance cases over 2, 3, 4, 5 years?
No, Gary, like you said, I mean, it's a $7 billion industry, or 7
billion Rand
industry in this context. But thank you for that insight, Gary. I think we should bring Gary back for a part 2.
Most definitely.
I'd like us to stop us there, Gary, because we can keep going.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions and unanswered question.
Yeah.
You know, we would like our audience to be part and parcel of this wonderful conversation we've had today.
Yeah.
You know, click on the like button, subscribe to our channel, and also post your comments. We will also leave Gary's information about Fathers for Justice, how you can keep in touch with him, contact him, and then, you know, get that legal advice which you're not getting and which, you know, you're paying ridiculous amounts of money to these sharks. Because to me, this sounds like a scam, sounds like some loan sharks out there feeding off, like you said, the blood of our kids. X, what's your...
No, I'm fully with you on that one. And, you know, it's something that's really, really touched, if not yourselves, every one of us, even here in the studio.
Yeah.
It's been great insights, Gary. You've come with a lot of information. And I love the fact that you're very, very well informed around, you know, the statistics around the country, which is quite shocking, you know, when you start hearing the numbers and where it sits. And I'm really hoping that you as South Africans out there have taken this in, have absorbed what we're talking about. And as Redemption, this is what we are here to do. We are here to find ways to work better. Do we want fathers to be there for our kids? Yes, we do. Should they be doing maintenance? Yes, they should. However, let us find a better way for us to work together, mothers and fathers, to make it very secure and healthy for our kids. Thank you very much for watching yet again.
Redemption, a conversation about how the male figure responds to the precious place upon him by modern day society.
Join us as we discuss how we can positively impact and provide solutions.